The stream hadn't even started yet, and there's already someone here defending Teofimo. Y'all are corny as hell. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. I just want to know that you guys can hear me okay. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I still don't have my setup as I usually do because, in the words of what's his name, Esqueleto from Nacho Libre, I just never got around to it, okay? Like I just didn't. So I do not have my setup yet with like the nice camera and the audio because I just didn't get around to it. I had a busy week and we'll get there eventually. Let's see. Blacks. Towards blacks. Interesting choice of words. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I really want to talk about Ryan Garcia making the boxing headlines for switching over from Joe Goossen, which honestly, it is pretty surprising to me because I think it's a very rushed decision. Mind you, I'm not in their camp. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what was going on prior to this fight coming up, but I don't think losing a fight, your first fight, right? And if anything, it was Joe Goossen telling Ryan, watch out for the body shots, right? I just saw the epilogue for All Access. And he was telling him, like, hey, be careful with that body shot. Be careful to the body. So I don't understand why Ryan took the decision to leave Joe Goossen after this loss when he didn't seem to do anything wrong, in my opinion. But if you guys have anything after that, what your thoughts are. I've been seeing, hi, Mr. Franco, ¿cómo estás? I've been seeing a lot of people saying, Cesar, get the fuck out of here. You're fucking corny. A lot of people have been saying he shouldn't have left. Ryan should have never left Reynoso, right? And I think it's a conflict of interest in the way that Ryan always wanted to be the main character, right? I think he wants to be the main character. And with Eddie Reynoso having Canelo and Eddie Reynoso having Oscar Valdez, who at the time before Ryan left was still undefeated, I really think that maybe Ryan just wanted more attention, which is valid, right? If you want to be a superstar, then you want to have a trainer for yourself. And maybe he was right in the way that Eddie Reynoso maybe did not have as much time as he wanted. We've heard both sides, right? Eddie Reynoso says that Ryan would come and go as he pleased, and he kind of wanted Eddie to base his schedule around him. And we heard Ryan said that Eddie Reynoso didn't have time for him. So I think there's a little truth to both sides. But I don't know if that means he shouldn't have left Reynoso, and I don't think he would go back. I don't think he would go back because of the whole pride thing, but also because I think he, regardless of how the situation ended, I do think that he does believe that he deserved better time and more of a one-on-one, maybe a little bit more time on his own with Eddie Reynoso as opposed to him with all the other fighters. So I don't think he's going to go back, honestly. But it does give me very much AJ vibes. You know how AJ's have a couple trainers already, and he went through Robert Garcia, and now he's with Errol's trainer. He's been through multiple trainers. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's the trainer, because you can absorb. I think it should be normalized to get different trainers, right? It should even be different trainers maybe for every opposition that you have, because it differs for opponent what you want to bring to the table that maybe your opponent doesn't have, that your current trainer, doesn't have. So maybe it should be normalized to maybe bring in different trainers for depending on what opponent you're targeting and depending on what strengths you want to highlight. But it does give me AJ vibes. Like, where can Ryan go from now on? Robert Garcia, Virgil Hunter, like, what is he going to do? And yeah, of course, I think you have a great point with that. I think he should have been more active. I think the reason why he wasn't ready for a tank fight is because he wasn't active, is because he fought very few in between, right? barely this past year was a little bit more active, but with the issues with the Reynoso, with the issue with his ex-manager, then it made it kind of the issue with Golden Boy, right? Is what kept him kind of maybe not trying to fight as often. And then with the whole Oscar thing, Oscar, even though Oscar wasn't at the post fight conference, which if you were on my last live, I didn't really like that he wasn't at the press conference, because he said that there was death threats, and it's like, why would there just be death threats post fight? If there was death threats, there was death threats all week, and it didn't really seem to bother you back then. It bothered you the right after. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I still feel that for Oscar to have missed the post-fight press conference and be with his fighter, to then be the first one to come out and try to say what is next for Ryan, I think that's out of pocket. And I'm glad that Ryan didn't like that. I'm glad that Ryan was like, let me think about what I'm going to do next with my career, and then you will hear from me. Casi le puso like, yeah, untate quieto to Oscar. Like, hey, let me be the one to say when I'm going to come back and on what terms, right? So I think Ryan, if he's going to leave if he left Joe Goossen, then I think he also is thinking about his career with Golden Boy. I know they recently had extended that contract, but I do not know to what extent, right? I'm not sure to what extent. And with Golden Boy, Nando says, yeah, like, it's a lot of tension, most definitely. And if you guys remember, Oscar was not there for the fight with Canelo and Floyd, period, right? He was not there, period. And I know that he said that it's because God was getting death threats, but there was security there. If you were there for the fight, they could very much so pull those death threats off while you were in the fight just as much as after. If anything, you have less career risk after, because the fans are gone. It's just the media. So I think that was very much a very bad excuse to say that you're not there because of death threats or because you were scared. That was all week if that was the case, So I really don't think that was the right thing to do. And with Ryan, I hope that, because he's not being a sore loser, and I give him a lot of props for that. I'm giving him a lot of props to Ryan Garcia for not being a sore loser. I heard something about the rib on there. I heard something about, oh, he hit me in the rib, whatever. And, people are connecting it to the mole, right? The mole in the camp, the rat in the camp who was saying about the body shot. But regardless, I don't think the rat had anything to do with that, because what are the odds that, it just happened to be a body shot. Tank could have landed something else that would have had the same effect eventually, right? So I didn't understand that part, and I wish they would have elaborated more on it. I'm like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by, yeah, I didn't want to continue because of my rib? And I feel like with him saying that, it only amplifies when people say that he could have kept going, but he didn't because of the rib situation, right? And I would actually like to see Ryan versus Natius. I actually think that would be a really nice comeback fight for Ryan, because his Natius is done, but it's a nice former world champ to have on your record, right? Hola, Celtic. So I do think that would actually, I wouldn't be against Ryan versus Linares. I think Ryan versus anybody in like the Golden Boy stable who's kind of not at their best would be a nice little confidence. And yes, he would. If you guys remember, Linares got early last year by some like random in like the other side of the pond. So Ryan would destroy him, but I think that's what Ryan needs. Ryan's gonna need a pick-me-up fight. And oh my God, yes, Ryan versus Jojo Diaz. I would like that. I would like to see it, because I would just love to see that, because I do think Ryan beats Jojo. I don't think Jojo has anything left in him. Plus, Jojo was sending like nudes to minors, and I would just love for Ryan to spark his shit. So I would love that, And Ryan was training in his backyard. Well, maybe he will. I think maybe what could have happened too is that Ryan maybe might just want to go back to just having his dad train him, right? Giving his dad, and maybe he feels like he has to go back to just having his dad. And, in the garage, now obviously they're rich, so they got a much better garage, right? A much better gym, even in their own house. So But I would like, I just feel like I'm glad that Ryan's not being a sore loser. I'm glad that he's not making excuses about being hurt, even after, he didn't make some comments about the rehydration clause up until the fight. But I'm glad that after the fight, he didn't go deeper into that. I'm glad that he's not like, oh, see, I would have beat him if I wasn't weight drained, right? So I do appreciate Ryan for that much. And I do appreciate him saying, you know what, maybe we'll meet at 140. I'm going to 140. And I would like to see Ryan. I think Ryan has a good chance with the guys at 140 that are like the B-level guys, even the C-level guys, right? Get in there with the C-level guys and then work your way up. I think Ryan just needs more practice in his defense and not throwing those wide-ass shots. He needs to protect his face, right? Like, Ryan's the next face of boxing. Oh, you're back. Hello. And yeah, I really appreciate that, because he's a kid and it would have been easy to be like, oh, he's a kid. He's going to make these excuses, right? Kind of like Teofimo. Teofimo went crazy with the excuses, right? And he went just kind of crazy after that. And I appreciate that Ryan's taking the time to like gather himself and see what he's going to do. I don't think he's, going like taking this loss as a mental weakness, so I'm glad that he's taking his time. I'm glad that he's putting his boundaries both with Oscar and with how he's going to announce moving forward. You think Tank is going to be? I think so. What I think, Ryan, Tank defies the whole you need to have belts to be a boxing star. He definitely defies that rule, but I do think it eventually is not gonna. For example, now that he fought Ryan, he has to keep getting better and better in opposition. I don't think fans will be as forgiving if Tank goes back to fighting the likes of like, what was that guy that he knocked out in like 3 rounds at the Step Hub? Nunez or something like that. I just don't think Tank could go back to fighting B- C-level guys after taking on Ryan Garcia, after taking on Isaac Cruz. I think he is the next, the next big thing, especially with Canelo not doing what the fans want him to do in terms of opposition. So I think Tank can definitely capitalize on this if he continues to take on opposition, like maybe the winner of Devin Haney versus Loma, maybe the winner of, what's the other one? Who was this fight? Like just maybe another Pitbull Cruz fight, maybe fighting anybody else at 140, 135 that is, maybe Teofimo. Well, Teofimo's at 140 now, so I don't know. Mercito Gesta at 140. Oh my God, you're right. You're right, because if you look at my interview with Mercito Gesta actually said that he would like the winner of Ryan versus Tank or the loser. So you are totally right. With Mercito Gesta also kind of like getting a second win against Jojo Diaz, but also he's older now in the stage of his career where he's probably looking to get paid, right? And what a perfect way to get paid than to face King Ryan himself, right? In a comeback fight where people are going to be wondering and intrigued to see if Ryan's going to have that mental ghost of the loss impede him from imposing his speed against an older Mercito Gesta. So I think that's actually, you're right, Nando. That's good shit. You're totally right. I think that's probably the most likely upcoming fight, and good for Mercito Gesta, who beat Jojo and is gonna get on this, nice little payday. And yes, Tony. Hi, Tony. Nice to see you again. Thank you for coming back. I do agree with that. I think at the end of the day, the moment was still too big for Ryan Garcia. The level of opposition they had faced, while not a bad level of opposition for his length of career, was not up to par to the type of puncher and level of IQ that Tank possesses. Because yes, Tank hits hard, right? That's no secret. But if you look at the fight all over again, he had some great defense. So yeah, he was fucking clinching and it was annoying, right? It was annoying that he was clinching a lot with Ryan. But I do also think that he had some really good fucking defense, Tank, and some great angles and some great footwork, right? And Ryan didn't even look fast. Ryan usually looks really fast against his opponents. We saw him against, what was it, Fortuna? Who was it? Well, Fortuna, obviously, because that first time when he knocked Fortuna out, I didn't even notice what fucking shot landed. But with, what's his name? The one that he knocked out and Tank also knocked out, but like in the 9th round. What was his name? I forgot. But that kid also, those punches were fast. And with Tank, Ryan wasn't able to capitalize on his strengths. And whenever you see a guy who's usually really good at a certain thing now struggling to look just as refined in that skill than with other opponents, that tells you the level of position that his opponent is, right? It tells you that guy's way steps ahead because he's not able to capitalize on the stuff that they usually capitalize on. And that was the case, in my opinion, with Ryan versus Tank. And oh my God, dude, I would love a second fight with Isaac Cruz and Tank because one, Isaac Cruz is that bitch. Like, Isaac Cruz looked really well against Tank, right? Even before Tank broke his arm, because obviously after the 6th, we saw Tank stop throwing that left, and it was very like, did he break something? Because he's injured. He's got to be injured. It obviously he was injured, right? So maybe it would have been a different outcome. But I do think Isaac Cruz is just a pit bull. He's a dog. Like, he's going to come forward and smother you and try to smother you. And in my opinion, that's two ways to beat Tank. You either completely outbox him in the term of someone like Shakur Stevenson would do, or you completely smother him, kind of like Isaac Cruz was doing it, right? Kind of how Maidana, as we talked in our last live, right? Maidana would do really well kind of in the same type of style. So I feel like those are the two ways you can beat Tank. And Isaac Cruz not going to outbox him, so you better go dog on him. And let's get a little bit of the Teofimo thing, because I know you guys get so triggered by the word racism. Like, I know you guys get so triggered by the word racism, and you guys want to claim both sides for some fucking reason. I will never understand it. But for Teofimo to say that Top Rank only cares about black fighters or can keep their black fighters, when Top Rank had Lomachenko and Fury like right the fuck up there, for fuck's sake, they were saying that Lomachenko wasn't better than Muhammad Ali or the next best thing, right? Says Muhammad Ali. Meanwhile, Crawford wasn't getting promoted at the same as someone like Lomachenko, as someone like Fury. So Teofimo, for him to say that was just wild as fuck to me. Because, like, my brother in Christ, you had everything going for you. You beat Lomachenko, you beat their guy. Like, you beat their guy. And instead of capitalizing on it, you went like on some crazy ass rants. He went on some crazy ass shit. The whole Cambosos thing didn't help. Ever since he beat Lomachenko, he's been on some weird shit. And it sucks because that Tara Banksman where it's like, how dare you? We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. That's me. I was rooting hardcore for Teofimo. I was so happy for the kid. Young ass kid, champion, defeating the arguably pound for pound guy, the guy that Top Rank and ESPN have on a fucking pedestal for a guy from where is he from? Honduras, right? To defeat this guy, right? The first champ, youngest from Honduras, like that. Champ's kiss. Good for you, Teofimo, right? But not after that, for him not only to go on this whole tangent, right, making excuses that Top Rank was against him, that the zone was against him, that the zone set him up, right? To now saying that the promotional network or the promotional company who literally promotes their white talent like they're the next best thing to Muhammad Ali, and like literally making crazy promotion. And meanwhile, the black fighters are like not even promoted. Crawford was not promoted at all. Mind you, you guys can argue that, well, Crawford's not friendly with the media. Crawford's not that type of guy who promotes himself. He's not that type of guy who's fan-friendly style, maybe you can say. But the point is that still Top Rank didn't promote him in the same way. So for Teofimo to come out and say some shit like that is really fucking crazy. Especially because I don't think he understands that Top Rank doesn't want Devin Haney to win. So I don't know what he went on about like that. Like, he's not gonna... Like, Top Rank is not hoping that Devin Haney beats Lomachenko. Are you fucking kidding me? They're not. And even if it's slightly close, I think that they would give it to Lomachenko. right? We'll talk about predictions and what I think about the fight in the next live next Monday. But that's why I never understood what the film was fucking talking about. Because he's acting like, oh, they can keep their black fighters. Like if Devin is their fighter. Devin is not their fighter. Devin entered a 3-fight deal so that they can fucking make sure if he wins the belts and he retains those belts, then their homeboy Lomachenko has their Lord and Savior Lomachenko now has a shot at those same titles, which can bring them back to him being the top dog for them. So I don't understand. That was really crazy. And I'm not going to entertain anybody saying that, oh, no, it goes both ways. Because no, the fuck it doesn't. It really doesn't. And I don't understand. And that's one thing that I will not be entertaining. If Teofimo loses again or if Ryan loses again. And I was going to ask you guys this. I was going to ask you guys if we should have like a little stream party. I can have like Los Cinco de Mayo, like little party poppers. I will have my setup by then. I pinky promise. I have my DSLR camera right here. Usually this is how I stream. With my DSLR camera and my fancy fucking microphone right here. This is usually how I stream, but the cables that I need to connect to the computer, I haven't found them, and I promise I am. But should we do like a stream watch party? Or should I go like on TikTok and try to stream the fight? I don't know, but we should do it. Cepeda would be fucking cool, but I think El Camarón Cepeda, they're trying to put him with who they say they're trying to put him with? I don't know. Pitbull Cruz versus Cepeda would be fucking cool. You know who else is in the mix? Martin, the one that's with Teofimo. What's his name? Frank Martin. That dude is a beast too. You know what? I don't know if I told y'all this. I think I told y'all last week. I got fucking death threats because I picked Tank to beat Ryan. So I'm gonna go back on TikTok and be like, how my Ryan Garcia fans doing? Because they went full fucking circle. When I posted that video that he was gonna lose to Tank, everybody was fucking like telling me that I didn't know shit about boxing, that I was ugly and to make them a sandwich. You know, the usual banter. And like it went from that to telling me, bitch, you don't know shit about boxing. Ryan's gonna sleep Tank. So then once it happened, everybody's like, oh, well, it didn't happen like you said. You said that it was gonna be knocked out. You didn't say it was gonna be a body shot. So haha, you're still wrong. To bitch, don't you know the sport is rigged? Oh no, that was rigged. Ryan sold himself out. Ryan threw the fight. So they went full fucking circle to I'm wrong because Ryan's gonna beat Tank and I just don't know shit about boxing, to them saying that it just didn't happen like I said. I said it was gonna be knocked the fuck out and not a body shot. So I'm still wrong. So I'm still fucking dumb and don't know shit about boxing. To it's rigged. So who cares? So I hope those Ryan Garcia fans are okay. I hope they are. In Stockton, which one's that one, Eric? Which one's that one? I don't know. I didn't even know that was having a card in Stockton. Is that for Gay Flores? Because I know that's where he's from. I said back in the Dizzle. Do you think William Cepeda? I think that'd be an amazing fight, but I do think that Tank would beat William Cepeda also like in the mid rounds because of the style, right? Because William Cepeda is a come forward fighter, and I think that would be ultimately his demise. I want to go to this fight, but I don't know. Top Rank don't like me. I feel like Top Rank don't like me, but I'm gonna try to apply for these credentials, and I want to go because that's fucking crazy. Because he's usually Taylor, who like people don't like because apparently he's like bigoted and like anti-vax and anti-COVID, and he like is very racist or like religiously. Like I don't know the whole religion thing with like the UK and over there. I'm very ignorant to that. No fucking clue. So apparently, you know, he made some really like bigoted remarks. So it's like, damn, people usually hate Taylor for his bigoted remarks, but then here comes Teofimo Lopez to like steal the show. I think Taylor's gonna take that. Again, I might share it later because I need to watch tape, and I always like to watch tape. But I think just Taylor is the better guy all around, and with Lopez being still on his bullshit, he looks like he's just not mentally there emotionally either. So I think right now I'm gonna have to go with Taylor. I just want Ryan to put, when you guys look at the all access, he's just throwing punches with his hand and coming forward with his hands down, like not one. And you know, they just put the Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez fight up in the Top Rank, and I was actually watching it yesterday. And that's one thing I really like about Valdez. That yes, that motherfucker was getting his ass beat by Shakur the entire fucking fight. But when he comes forward, he comes in with his guard. And I feel like everybody should do that. Everybody should learn that from Valdez. Who do I think is la mera verga at 135? I think Frank Martin is looking to be la mera verga. Obviously, Tank. I don't know how long Tank's going to stay at 135. And depending on the winner of Devin versus Lomachenko, I think 135 is just fucking stacked, honestly. And I love that for them. And I love that we are getting the good fights at 135 because it's a stacked ass division. And they're doing great, you know? So I think right now I'm going to have to go with Tank. Tank because I think Devin Haney, in order to beat Tank, would have to fight the perfect fight, you know, to like not get got. But I don't know if Tank's going to stay at 135, you know? So I think for now, I'm going to have to say Tank, even though he's not the one that has the belts. Tank needs to fight Shakur and Haney, not Isaac. I would like either or, honestly. I would like all of them. I would like all those fights. I think I would have Shakur beat all of them, honestly, just by outboxing them in a very boring fashion. I think Pitbull would not be a good choice for Ryan right now, especially with Ryan having gotten dropped by Luke Campbell and by Gervonta twice. I think someone like Pitbull has too much come forwardy, too much, like his style is too much smothering come forward that Ryan is not gonna do well against coming off a loss, if that makes any sense. Am I single? Yes. I've been single for 10 years. And I do look like shit today. I spent all my weekend in San Antonio and I got back yesterday, so my bags are crazy. Okay, no me peiné. I'm sorry. I think I feel bad for Teofimo. I really do, because like I said, I was really rooting for him. Like, I was so happy for him. And I just think his dad is a bad influence. Like, I don't like it. I'm Irish. Honduras. Damn, I'm way behind the comments. I'm so sorry. I'm going to catch up as soon as I can. I appreciate you guys being here, by the way. I was like, oh, I don't know if they'll come back because that last time it was like a big fight. But I appreciate you guys being here. If Cruz would use his jab, would make him a better fighter. Yes, you know, all these guys who are very come forward guys can definitely use the jab. Teofimo's from Florida, but thinks he's from Florida? I was today years old. I didn't know he was from Florida. I thought he was from Brooklyn. I thought he was from Brooklyn. Dude, Cambosos, he warned us. And you know what's fucking crazy? Fucking Teofimo has a picture with Trump. Like, my brother in Christ, what's that about? Like, you know, we don't like us Latinos, right? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? Let me see if I can log into my Instagram so I can show y'all. Did y'all see that? Or did I dream it? I didn't dream it, right? Because I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Who sent it to me? Someone sent it to me. Let me see if I can pull it up and we're going to see it because, bro, what? That's one thing I don't understand. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck does Donald Trump do with anything? So that's why I don't get it. Like, why did Teofimo do that? What does Donald Trump do with boxing or anything, period? Like, I think Theo just kind of like wants attention right now. Is it that? Is he just trying to like get a reaction from us? What is it, Teofimo Lopez? Let's see. And then he turned the comments off. In my opinion, like that's some bitch ass shit. I actually think PBC is my favorite. They make the best fights, in my opinion. All promoters are guilty of not making big fights when we want them, or having each of them have their own fault. Fights not being made and whatever. But I think PBC has made the best fights in the last couple of years. Why did he turn the comments off for? Like, I don't get it. Don't be. Say it with your chest. If you're gonna do something, do it with your chest. Why are y'all turning off the comments? Yeah, I think that's why I want to go to it. I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, and it's like Bigot versus Bigot. You know what I mean? Let's see. I think Teofimo. Well, the thing is with Teofimo is that he's not helping his cause. If he's acting crazy, talking, and don't get me wrong, he can say stuff, but like the way that he's going on about it is kind of crazy. So I don't get what that was about. I don't get what turning the comments was about. Just very strange behavior for him, and I don't like it. I think he's great. And like, I think this is a sick ass posters, right? You got the UK in one end, you got fucking New York in the other. Like, that's a pretty cool ass poster. I just don't understand him. I don't get I don't get it. His dad is like if Angel Garcia and Guerrero Sr. had a baby. Like, it's just corny, but also like, yo, what the fuck are you going on about? Like, you know what I mean? Ryan Garcia, gotta get. Oh, hi, Danny. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I'm behind on the comments. Thank you for being here, Danny. I love your tweets. Y'all should follow Danny on here, but also on Twitter. Amazing tweets. Ryan Garcia, gotta join. You know what? I'm telling you. You know what? I would love to see Ryan versus Rolly. That would also be a sick ass fight. And I don't think y'all understand that like PBC has nothing to do with their fighters being inactive. I think that's like the fighters themselves, I don't think Tank versus Ryan was 50-50. I think it was like 70-30. He was, you know what? That was in Dallas, right? That would be a good fight too. What is it? You know what? I love how Tiffany Goossen is her name, came out and was like, hey, I'm gonna apply because I think through my job now I can get through, but like I need to go. Yeah, double standards don't exist. Reverse racism isn't a thing. Please get help. Do you think he'll go back to Reynoso? I think he's gonna stay in California for sure because I think he's based out of San Diego. But I don't think he's going back to Reynoso. Oh, okay. Man, I am way behind, and I am so sorry. I am way behind in the comments. I'm sorry. A bitch can talk. Let me see. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to scroll down. Jesus Christ. Oh, y'all don't gotta do all that, but I appreciate y'all. Y'all are so cool. No. That's not what we're gonna do. That is racist. What does that have to do with? I've been to so many PBC shows. Never once has anything happened to anybody. There's fights. There's fights in the stands every time. But both Oscar and Bernard were literally around the fans the entire fight week. All over. But then all of a sudden, like, right after the fight, that's when they're going to choose to leave, even though it's just the media. That don't sit right with me. And the people who say fight is rigged, a part of me wants to be like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up and let us enjoy things. Like, just because your fighter doesn't fucking win doesn't mean it was rigged. Because for some reason, it's only rigged if their pick loses. If their pick loses, then it's rigged. But it's never like, oh my guy won because it's rigged. Never. Have you ever heard anybody say that? My guy won, so must be rigged. No, it's always when they lose. Two, I kind of get it because like a lot of casual fans do have this perception that boxing is corrupt, right? When I used to bartend at a sports bar and I would talk boxing, that was almost the most popular response I got. Oh, I used to watch boxing, but now it's too political. I used to watch boxing, but now everything's rigged. I used to watch boxing, but it's a business now. Which, if you think about it, they ain't wrong. Like, it is very much a business disguised as a sport, is what I heard it be described as before. But that doesn't mean every single fucking fight is rigged. Because especially with these type of level fights, right? What would Ryan, a guy who's already so fucking popular in social media, gain from losing? If anything, if he won, he'd get even more fucking popular and more deals. He could live off the fucking ads on YouTube and Instagram alone, promotions and what do they call, like, sponsorships and things like that. Like, Ryan would have benefited way more from winning that fight than he would from throwing the fight or rigging it. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you for asking that. The cynical part of me wants to be like, shut the fuck up, you fucking casual. But the other part of me was like, you know what? I don't blame y'all for thinking that, because shit do be happening in boxing. Ryan has speed and the left hook, but Tank was such a hard fight for him that he wasn't able to execute either. You know what I mean? I think Shakur beats everybody at 135, even Tank. If Isaac gets a few more wins, Tank it would be called for, but I don't think he would do it. I did go to the San Antonio Riverwalk. Let me show you my phone. I love the Riverwalk, honestly. Honestly, I love the Riverwalk. It's probably one of my most favorite spots. It's peaceful. There's a lot of places to drink. I had fun. I like San Antonio better than I like Dallas. And I will say this. Word on the street is that Virgil's fight in July against Stanionis is going to be in San Antonio and Dallas. See, that was me at the Riverwalk. I don't think y'all can see because, like, I'm using the camera from the computer and not, like, my camera. But I had the most fucking fun. I was out at the Riverwalk taking pictures, having dinner. Look, I was wearing my cowboy hat. I went to Fiesta. That was fun. It was fun. I had a fucking blast. I really liked it. And thank you, Eric. Y'all are so nice. Kisses to everybody. I like Teofimo, but he's around too many yes men. And the same thing I think with Ryan. Ryan has, when Conor went back there and started saying all that shit, if I wasn't Ryan's team, I'm like, look, my corny motherfucker, get out of here. Like, he needs support right now, but we're not going to do all this. Oscar Valdez rematch? Oh, yes, against Pitbull, Blue Nose. I have an interview with Pitbull, Blue Nose. What's his name, right? That's his name? Blue Nose or Pitbull? I don't fucking know. That kid, Adam Lopez. No, it's not Pitbull. It's just Blue Nose. I had an interview with him, and the camera completely fucked up, so I was only able to extract the audio. But yeah, that's going to be a good one. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Le va a lavar el coco. I would love this fight, Ryan versus Rolly, because they had their beef, right? Ryan would do good if he went to Manny Robles. I don't think Manny Robles would be a good fit because I think Ryan needs to work on his defense, and Manny Robles is not one to prioritize defense, in my opinion. Anything on Virgil Ortiz? Thank you for bringing that up. My sources tell me that it's going to be around July, and it's going to be in San Antonio, not Dallas this time. But regardless, I'm going. I'm going to go. I love me some Virgil. I love me some Virgil Ortiz. I love his style. I love Staniones. Like, I don't know how to pronounce his names. I'm sorry. And Karma Serene. I've been fucking telling you every time to drop your channel and drop your Twitter so people can follow you. Follow Karma Serene. She is great. Hold on, my cat needs to go out. Her boxing opinions. She's fucking funny on Twitter too. Y'all need to follow her on Twitter and subscribe to her on here because she has some funny ass shit. And I would love for you to come on the show with me one time and give me all your funny predictions and all your analysis. Ryan Garcia and Conor are signed to the same time. I did not know that. Thank you for that. Yeah, that made sense. But it's just like, that was so fucking corny to me. Like, what are you doing here, bro? Like, also in the All Access, if you see it, they only show Manny going to Ryan's locker room when he actually went to both. Manny went both to Ryan's side and to Tank's, but for some reason they only showed Ryan, which was kind of like, what are you guys doing here? What does this mean, right? But it's crazy that a whole week later we're still talking about this fight, and this fight had such great magnitude that we're still talking about it, and it only created like kind of a ripple effect on the division. And I hope that it creates a ripple effect on these motherfucking Errol Spence and Crawford. Because what the fuck is Errol Spence doing, by the way? Like, he just needs to announce a fight at this point. If it's not fucking Crawford, whatever, I guess we're never fucking getting that fight. But play somebody with a pulse. And I know that like Spence is a good guy, right? He's like, I'm not gonna get tune-ups or whatever. Like he wouldn't do some shit like fight Crowley next or some dumb shit like that, right? So I do have trust in him. But also, please, for the love of God, just announce a fight, because you are just inactive, and I just need to see you in the ring. Like I love that man. No, don't say that, Troy. Don't do Ryan like that. I think Ryan has way more potential than a Victor Ortiz. Don't do that. And Danny also dropped your Twitter and if you're, you have your little channel here. You guys are also more than welcome to join me anytime. You have some hit tweets on Twitter, man. You have some hit tweets. Y'all should follow him on Twitter. Drop your handles so people can follow you on Twitter. Man, Murataya versus... I didn't know Nakatila was fighting Murataya. Remember? Oh my God. I love how the Murataya brothers came out of the pandemic fights. Remember when Top Rank was having Tuesday and Thursday fights? That was probably one of the best fucking things in my life during the pandemic. Hi, Napoleon. Because none of us were doing shit. The majority of us were not doing shit during the quarantine. And we had boxing on Tuesday and Thursday. I would just have my little beer, sipping on some beer while watching boxing on a Tuesday and Thursday. And then you saw these guys, right? Raymond Murataya and his brother. What's his brother's name? Gabriel? But these guys, right? Like, one's a school teacher. The other guy, Raymond, I think it's like the guy, the better of the two. If I don't want to be mean, but I think he is. And there was Robert Garcia, and there's these guys who like are very fan-friendly styles. And I love that came from the pandemic, right? That we got to see some really cool talent emerge from the pandemic. And I think Keyshawn Davis is just on another level. That kid's going to be special too. I just can't wait to see it develop. What does that even mean? And everybody, this Dan Dueñas is actually my correspondent for Xicana Boxing. So you guys can always follow him on Twitter, because whenever I'm not covering an event, because I'm working my 9-to-5 corporate job, it is going to be Danny who is going to be at the either workout. He goes with me to fight. So that is the other side of Xicana Boxing. It's Dan. I did. Oh my God. Yes, I did. Let's talk about it. Please, let's talk about it, because I don't know what the fuck Canelo was thinking. I don't know what Canelo's PR was thinking. Like me, I do PR, comms, and integrated marketing for my 9-to-5, right? And I don't think that was very smart of like Canelo to like, this is the making of Canelo Alvarez, but it's just him talking about the Floyd fight. And him, I like that he's very honest, admitting that he was, frustrated. Are you okay, my brother in Christ? My child is playing Fortnite or something. So I did appreciate Saul Canelo Alvarez being real, being like, you know what? I was frustrated as hell. It was frustrating to not be able to hit him. But he said some crazy ass stuff like, oh, now it would be different. Now wasn't maybe Floyd being old as fuck now? Yes, but tell me I don't know shit about boxing. But Prime Canelo versus Prime Floyd, I still got Floyd. I'm sorry. Like, I just think that type of style is not Canelo's best suit, even in his prime. And to me, Prime Floyd was when he had that transition, like that very thin line between Pretty Boy Floyd and Money May, right? Like that run in the middle, that was his peak. And I just don't know what the point of that was. Like, Canelo has had some great fights over the years, and for them to focus on Floyd for like the first episode had me scratching my head. Like, I like to take my L's in silence and grow from them. Maybe that's just me though. Y'all could not pay me to like have my most fucking embarrassing moment in front of me on TV and comment on it. Like that time I fell off a fucking taxi in TJ trying to get off, or that one time I was walking in the sidewalk and I didn't see a trench and I fucking fell into it. Y'all cannot put that shit on TV and had me like analyze it like, oh yeah, see, I was very frustrated because no, I could never. I could never. You know, like, I appreciate Canelo, and it's, being so good about admitting that he was just frustrated and there was nothing he could do, right? But I didn't like that. I honestly didn't like that. It was very weird. I didn't like it. And then he was saying that, like, they offered him money for it. And it's like, of course they're going to offer you money, right? Like, I think that whole fight was because even he said it, right? He said, Eddie told me not to take it because years from now, I'm going to be making 10 times more, right? But when you're, like him, making fucking 800 pesos per fight, of course you're going to want life-changing money. I think that was more of an influence from Oscar, in my opinion. I've always thought that it was Oscar was the one that metió su cuchara in that. I was like, look, Canelo, like, this is the bigger fight. You can do it, right? You're gonna beat Floyd. And obviously that didn't happen. But I don't think I'm just saying I don't think they should have done that. But I don't think Canelo should regret fighting Floyd, regardless of when it was, because they always say, oh yeah, Canelo got schooled by Floyd. Canelo got schooled, and yes, he did. And what do you go to school for? To learn, right? So yeah, he got schooled by Floyd, but I think that victory really helped them get more polished and see things a little bit different. The Mexican reporter who's with Sanford Box, Erika, I think her name is, she came on in the making of Canelo. She was right in the way that she said that loss changes perspective on how to move forward with his career. And I think that the fighting Floyd helped them and turned him into who he is ultimately. And I don't think he should regret it, but I don't think he should also be saying that, like, oh yeah, I would beat him now or whatever. Like, if I still think now, sure, fucking Jake Paul had Floyd, fucking, like, todo pendejo. But prime versus prime, I still got Floyd. I'm sorry, call me a fucking hater, call me whatever. I don't know shit about boxing. I'll take it. Boxers playing fans like fans that box. No, bro, that's crazy because it's sad, right? Like how you think about the old boxers didn't really get much money. So, do you believe he offered? I don't think so. But I don't think Canelo. I think that was maybe Oscar telling Canelo that, or somebody else telling Canelo that. I don't think that Floyd went directly to Canelo and said, I offer you this fight. Because let's be honest, what would Floyd get out of that? There was so much other competition that Floyd can fight that he would get more recognition from than an 18-year-old Canelo who was, don't get me wrong, he was making noise, right? Like Jacobs talked about himself. There was talk about this Mexican ginger kid who was fucking everybody up, right? But at that time, at 18 years old, Canelo didn't start getting super, 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 super popular until he beat Trout, right? Like when he beat Trout, I was like one of those like, oh shit, Trout just beat Cotto. And now this little ginger kid dropped him. Fuck. Like, I guess he is a real deal, right? Canelo was getting, of course, traction and coming up and coming up and coming up. But not to the point where I thought at 18 years old, he would be in Mayweather's radar. If that makes any sense. Prime Floyd, who did Prime Floyd fight? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I guess I still think Canelo, a Prime Floyd would still be Canelo, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I think, Jose, I just think that was more of Oscar encouraging Canelo and his team to take it. Because again, let's fuck the money, right? Put the money aside. regardless, I think that Canelo got a lot of exposure from that fight. Was it disappointing as fuck to just see him like not land shit for 12 rounds and just get schooled by Floyd and put on a clinic? A little embarrassing, right? But also, he fought Floyd. He made the money and he got the exposure. And again, it turned into who he is today. So even though he lost, I don't think he should be embarrassed or ashamed to have fought Floyd. Honestly, I never got into that because when all of this was going on, I still wasn't big on like boxing drama. You know, when I didn't start getting into like the boxing stuff, boxing media, boxing rumors, boxing YouTube until like 2017 and up. So I never really, and even then, I never really watched boxing channels or boxing interviews other than whatever came out on ESPN. You know, I was very ignorant to like the world of boxing media. So I honestly never really got the full drama of that, right? Of the IV of doing that before the fights. And I never really, you know, my Instagram doesn't come up. I must be shadow banned. That's crazy. Because I'll show y'all. I have Instagram. But maybe I'm shadow banned. I do post a lot of stupid shit. So I don't post much on my story. I post mostly on my page. I post mostly on my stories. But I will share it to show you guys that I do have it. It's just that maybe I'm shadow banned. Sometimes Instagram does stuff like that. Let me see. That's my Instagram. Billy O Saunders. You see this right here? And that was at the Ryan thing. That's my Instagram. So I have an Instagram. I just don't know why it's not coming up. See, that was me in San Antonio at the Riverwalk. Drinking, eating, living my best life. It was fun. So I put like a lot of boxing content on there too. I did ask Ryan about Eddie Reynoso there. My son does karate, so he like dropped that kid and we put Pacquiao sleeping next to him because I said, yeah, that kid. That's a picture with Bam after his fight of Bam. So yeah, I do post a lot of boxing content on my Instagram. So y'all should follow me on there. Yeah. I do have an Instagram and my username is up here. Billy, maybe just because I don't know, I'm banned, maybe. I don't fucking know. Oh my god. See, Floyd versus Oscar, that was a good ass fucking fight. And that I always like to bring up. Who do y'all think won? I would love to see that. I think that was a really close fight. I love that fight. And to this day, I like to hear people's opinions on that fight because I think both are valid. I can see both people having valid arguments for who won. Kirkland hit fucking hard. I'm sad how Kirkland went out. Yeah, why not? I don't think why not. He's not really adding anything of value. He's kind of just asking things here and there, right? Like what he said to Ryan. Oh, what he got? And that was cold-blooded. And Danny Boxing is the one who posted that. It's like, what do you got? And Tank goes, nothing. And that's usually what he does, right? I think for the Barrios fight where it was like, he was telling him like, you know, Tank, you got to do this. So it's anything he's more of like a distraction for Tank, in my opinion, more than beneficial. But when you are Floyd, I think you get to do what the fuck you want. And if they have him as part of the team, then he's allowed to be in the vicinity of the ring. My most favorite interview. That's a good question. I think Virgil Ortiz and his dad have given me some of the most in-depth interviews and most professional interviews. When it comes to fun interviews, I really enjoyed interviewing Tony Harrison because he was talking shit about Charlo in the interview, and that shit was it was hard not to laugh because he was calling Charlo all sorts of names, and I'm just there like, you know, so think I don't think I have a favorite, but I do think that there's people who are. Baby Benavides is also a good interview. There's guys who do give you good interviews, like they do answer and they don't fuck around. They don't answer in a like in the interest of what might come later. Like, for example, Pitbull Cruz, I asked him what his prediction was for Tank Garcia, and he gave me the usual, well, I'm not rooting for anybody, I'm just, motherfucking no, tell me, right? I love when fighters keep it real. I love when fighters tell you what's on their mind, and they're not answering like their PR person's right fucking next to them, right? Because yes, they have an opinion, yes, they have a prediction, yes, they have a favorite. But not all fighters are going to say that, because it's either conflict of interest if they pick the wrong guy. Maybe they're not going to want to do business with. It's like all conflict of interest if they're in the same. Kind of like Sean Porter. Sean Porter's always picking the PBC guys because he's a PBC guy, right? He picked Plant against Canelo. He picked Plant. Well, with Benavides doesn't count because like Benavides is also PBC, but Plant is from Vegas. And Sean, even though he's from Ohio, he moved to Vegas. Right? And I think he's just more cool with Plant. So he put Plant against Benavides. He was always highlighting Jake Paul and talking about how Jake Paul did so well in his last fight. Well, honestly, no, the fuck he didn't. But because he was doing stuff for like Triller and the Zone, right? So it's like they answer like when fighters answer like that, they're answering in PR terms. They're answering with their PR brains on. They're not actually answering the question how they actually believe. They're just answering the question in their best interest. I wasn't. Everybody thinks that. I've had this Instagram name for the longest. I had this Instagram name for fucking years. And it's just a play of words. Billy Joe Saunders. Like, I'm going to have to change my name eventually because my job is like very corporate. And eventually I think I'm going to have to change my name because I'm growing very fast in the company. So I think I'm going to have to change my name. So give me good names, give me good boxing related names, because everything that I think about is like not good for like corporate. Like I was thinking like other funny shit. And I'm like, wait, no. Yeah, it's just a play of words. Oscar and Floyd deserve to. I would have loved to see a rematch. Even now, fucking exhibition. I don't give a fuck. I watch that shit. I pay for that shit live. I pay for that shit pay-per-view. I would love to see that now. Still, I don't care. 50-55. I think the Lawyer had fought at 154. He would have had an advantage. Yeah, and see, when I love talking about that fight because everybody has great perspective, and it's never like, oh, he won because whatever the fuck. There's always a good reason why people think one or the other one. And I always watch that fight, and every time I see it differently. Every time I'm like, oh, I think Floyd just landed the better punches, and he was more precise, and he got the better of the exchange. So I'm just gonna have to go to Floyd. And then other times I watch, I'm like, nah, Oscar really did land the better shot. Oscar was a busier fighter. Oscar was on pressing the action. I think I have Oscar. But it's every time I'm like, well, it could have been either guy, right? Because didn't even Floyd's daddy say that Oscar won that fight at one point, which is fucking bonkers if you think about it. And I forget that fight where Oscar went and then put the camera. I remember that. Yeah. And it was just one of those fights. Remember? Huh? Sorry, you're going to have to type that again. I don't get it. I remember the La Olla saying he felt drained, maybe a mop. I need to go back to like the fight stuff, like the fight week festivities. 54. Danny says, I hope Canelo's in fight. Bro, please, as a Mexican, I'm like, my brother in Christ, and I'm gonna get fucking dragged for this. But in my opinion, Canelo is wasting his prime. Canelo was at his peak, like, oh my God, Chef's Kiss, sure, you got all the belts, blah, blah, blah. Good for you, bro, prime, yeah. But like, he wasted last year in fighting unnecessary ass fucking fights after that, because who the fuck wanted the Triple G fight? And mind you, my sources told me that the third Triple G fight was always part of the contract after the second fight. It was just up to Canelo to say when. But that that whenever Canelo and Triple G signed the rematch, the trilogy was actually in those terms. That's what one of my sources told me. One of very reliable sources who works close to the team Triple G and their promotions. That's what they told me. And I'm like, why don't you tell me that? But so I think that's why, when we talk about how the Zone got Canelo and then they got Triple G, it was because they knew that was already in the contract and that eventually Canelo was going to have to give that third match to Triple G. But it's like, that's unnecessary. And I get that he's like, oh, I'm chasing greatness or whatever. But fuck, don't chase greatness. Chase the guys that we want you to chase, right? Because I just don't like the Canelo flip-flops, right? One day he'll say, I'm doing what Eddie tells me because Eddie wants me to get all the belts. Another time it's like, well, I have my own plans. Or like, Canelo's, la era de Canelo es el mejor porque peleó con los mejores. Like, the Canelo era is the best because I fight the best. But then other times they'll be like, well, I fight whoever I want because it's my terms. Like, I have plans. I have my own plans. So, like, motherfucker, which one is it? Which one is it? Because what did that third Triple G fight do for us? Nothing. B-Ball, like, I don't care if it's at 168. I don't care if you tie one of B-Ball's arms behind his head. He's not going to beat him. Canelo is not going to beat B-Ball. Even if it's at 168. Even if there's a rehydration clause. Even if Canelo says, look, you're only allowed to fight on this end and you're only allowed to go side to side, not all around the ring. I still feel like B-Ball beats him. Canelo showed his amazing head movement, head and waist movement, his amazing defense. Canelo has had great defense ever. At first when he first came out, he's flat-footed, he don't move his head, he's fucking flat-footed motherfucker. He really, maybe he's still flat-footed, doesn't have the best footwork, but he makes up for that in head and waist movement. We saw that against fucking Triple G. We saw it against Danny Jacobs, right? And we saw this against B-Ball. Canelo did great moving his head because B-Ball could have landed way more, right? But he's not going to beat him. I gave the motherfucker 3 rounds tops the first fight. I don't think Canelo's going to beat B-Ball no matter what. He's not going to happen. So why are you wasting your time, brother in Christ? Fight Benavidez. Fight Charlo. Fuck it. Even if it's like Charlo's finally coming out, fighting again. And of course they're going to make that excuse. Well, he wasn't active. I don't get why he went and fought Rocky Fielding at 175 or 168, was it right? When it was just a hanky-panky bout. Canelo, if he really wanted to, he could have been 2-division undisputed. All he needed to do was fight Boo Boo and take his belt to become undisputed at 160. Why didn't he do that? Why did he fight Rocky Fielding? That's one thing that I will never understand. Dead ass. And I'm not saying Canelo's ducking or ducked, what's his name, Boo Boo, because I 100% believe Canelo beats Boo Boo Andre. I think Boo Boo Andre is not that deep. Like, I don't think so. Yes, he's a mover, but I don't think Canelo has anything to worry about. Yeah, maybe for a couple rounds, Canelo's going to be chasing after him, sure. But I do think Canelo's far superior than Boo Boo Andre. Especially Boo Boo Andre, who has fought shitty-ass competition his past 3 fucking years. So that's why it makes less sense to me. Why Canelo wouldn't go ahead and fight Boo Boo and become undisputed at 160. And then move up and become, eventually become undisputed at 1. I don't get what the fuck some of his moves are. Like this, what is his fixation with B-Boy? Good for him. He tried it, didn't work out. Move on, bro. Move on. Fight Charlo. Fight Benavidez. Who else is at 168? David Morrell still feels kind of too soon, though. That fucking David Morrell knockout was Chef's kiss, and he just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better. But I just feel like there's so much for Canelo to do that would make the fans very happy and finally make the Mexican fans especially, who don't like him because he hasn't had that career-defining fight that all Mexican fighters have had, where they get dropped and get back up and they win and they're warriors, right? Canelo hasn't had something like that. And I feel like he's not going to earn that place in the hardcore boxing Mexicans' hearts until he has something like that. And Benavidez has that's his fight to be able to do that, right? Where it'd be so competitive and it'd be great. And he's only making it worse. If Canelo would have fought, I would have given. I still think Canelo can beat Bivol. I mean, beat Benavidez, not Bivol. He's never beat Bivol. I think Canelo can beat Benavidez still now. But the more he waits, the better fucking Benavidez gets. You should have fought him 2 years ago, bro. Like when he was mandatory and he just at 168. Like what? I don't get it. Oh no, he be saying something. He's funny, but he says some dumb shit sometimes too. I don't know. He's funny though. Chavez Jr., I saw his dad posted a picture of them doing some shit this weekend. He wants to fight he wanted to fight Jake Paul last time I checked. I think, you know what? I would hope not. But I wouldn't doubt it because when Berlanga got signed on to Matchroom with Eddie, that's what Eddie was saying. And, Eddie will say anything, I think, just to get the fans going and riled up and to get, more buzz around Canelo and Berlanga, right? Because these conversations benefit both parties, right? But I'd be fucking pissed, honestly, because who is Berlanga? No, he didn't do nothing to serve that. Yes, Al Bernstein is an angel. I like him a lot. I like Corey Erdman. He's DAZN. He's the only DAZN commentator that I like. Corey, y'all should follow him on Twitter. He's the one that called last weekend's fights on DAZN. He is a great commentator. I thought Oscar as well, but I thought Floyd won most rounds. Yes, and that's another thing, right? Like you don't win rounds with moments. Anybody subscribe to Sports Talk with Troy? He has some really cool boxing. He's very quick to upload whenever anything boxing related happens. He's quick with a reaction. Can Love put a rehydration clause on who? He probably on everybody, probably. Dude, Canelo versus Charlo back when they were both at 160 would have smacked. I would have paid big money to see that shit live. I don't give a fuck. It just makes no fucking sense. Like, Canelo, come on, bro. Like, do you want us to like you or not? Oh, God. Oh, God. Please, que la boca se te haga chicharrón. No. Que la boca se te haga chicharrón. I don't want that. No. Oh, my God. If Canelo's never going to get the respect he wants. And honestly, I don't think he gives a fuck. I think at one point he's like, oh, well, everybody hates me already. Who gives a fuck? What the hell's wrong with my hair? But I think he's taking that route where it's like, well, people are gonna talk shit on me regardless, and they're not gonna see me as a great. But also, like, then what are you doing, brother in Christ? I think he's gonna look good. Like, yes, he had that, what is it, knee injury and arm injury? I don't know. Something was wrong, right? He claimed something's happening. And I don't blame him because even back then when he was fighting at fucking 154, you see him at 160, you see him with that with his knee thing and he put like those fucking compression things in the back, right? And whatever, he had something going on. Okay, cool, whatever, sure. All good. Esta te la paso. I'm down to forgive Canelo for this fight because of that, right? Because of his injury, whatever, coming off an injury. But then don't fight Bivol. Fight somebody else, please. Don't waste your prime, Canelo. Like, you have so much potential. Yes, and I get it. It's him trying to prove a point that, like, no. I know I can beat him. But no, like, you can't. Thank you so much. You're awesome. See you later. I would love to see that, but I don't think that they would want that, Chris. Thank you for popping in. I don't know if because you remember, like, even after that fight ended, there were talks of immediately, like, oh, would you give him a rematch? And Tank was very hesitant to be like, yeah, sure, I'll give him a rematch. Usually you hear guys say shit like that, right? Like, oh, yeah, I'll give him, we can run it back. But Tank was like, no. Like, was not even entertaining it. Which reminds me of them asking Ryan post-fight, like, if they asked Tank, post-fight, if Ryan was, like, the strongest fighter or the best fighter has fought. Which, in my opinion, why do y'all ask that? Like, I want to ask the media people, like, why do you guys ask him that? Especially in front of Ryan. One, he took forever to answer. He's like, no, it wasn't. Tank has fought better opposition than Ryan. Ryan's not the best fighter that Tank has fought. But to ask him that in front of Ryan after they fought was so shady to me. Like, it was so dumb. Like, why would y'all ask him that? He only said yes because he's right there. And then everybody started clapping. Like, what the fuck? Oh, my God. And it doesn't matter. He can put a rehydration clause. I still think we both beat his ass. We both gonna beat his ass every fucking day of the week, twice on Sundays. Like, nothing Canelo does. Canelo can get on fucking clenbuterol, and that's not gonna. Canelo is just not the strongest against guys who box and are tactical. And Bigot on his jab alone can just fucking keep you at bay, and you're just gonna stay over there. He's gonna fucking keep you over there. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Hi, Napoleon. Napoleon's a Canelo fan. He said. He told me. Boo Boo lost his chest. Oh my God. Boo Boo, mind you, I want God to grant me the confidence of a Boo Boo Andre who has like the most mediocre resume, who has not fought a champion in years, and only got relevant because he beat some random when Billy Joe Saunders got tested positive or something, right? I want God to grant me that confidence of a Boo Boo Andre going up to Canelo and asking him, who have you fought? I want God to grant me that confidence of Boo Boo Andre, because if I were Boo Boo Andre and I had a Boo Boo Andre resume, I'd be fucking embarrassed to show my face in front of Canelo and ask him to give me a fight. Honestly, I'd be like, oh no, like what the fuck? He's like, oh, whoever you fought. What was this after was this after he put Liam Smith? Liam Smith, the brother, that's Liam, right? No, right? Where he's like, fuck you. And he's like, you're a horrible fighter, man. You want payday. I know that. That was after the Liam Smith fight, right? A Liam Smith fight? Or was it after the... No, yeah, it was on the zone card. So it was after the Liam Smith fight, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, what the fuck is that with Boo Boo? Like, bro, you're that confident, my brother in Christ. What? I need whatever the fuck gives them that confidence, because I'd be fucking embarrassed to show my face in front of Canelo with my resume and still question him on his resume. Like, bro, what? What are you talking about? Tank was supposed to fight Garcia Jr. in January, but Gary turned it down. Gary, well, the thing with Gary Russell is that his inactivity is what killed him. I feel like Gary Russell is one of those guys that, in my opinion, if he were more passionate about the sport, he would have been in like the top 10 pound for pound. If he was active, if he actually was passionate about the sport itself and actually took serious how good he was, because that dude, fast, great boxing IQ. Gary Russell Jr. is one of those guys that's like, you see him and you see his career and you're like, God damn, that guy had so much potential. God damn, this guy is really fucking good, right? He just didn't really fight often. And then he lost to Lomachenko, and that was kind of like, then he fought even less often. I still would have loved to see the fucking fight with Santa Cruz. That never fucking happened, and that's the I'm always going to be pissed off about. Like, they're both with PBC. What fuck was the holdup? And, and that's one thing that I asked Leo in my interview with him. I'm like, what the fuck is the holdup, Leo? Like, he gave me his little quiet response. Well, I asked for that fight. First of all, if I was Leo Santa Cruz and I saw that Gary Russell Jr. went up to my dad and like damn near threatened him, I wouldn't even ask to fight in the ring. I'd go to his house, knock on his door, and beat his ass. Like, that's what I would have done if someone did that to my family that I love. Like, but that would have been sick. I would have loved that. No, because I don't think Boo Boo is this boogeyman that people painted him out to be. He got dropped by Lara. He got dropped by Perangulo too. No, he got dropped by Vanes, right? Vanes, the one that Triple G beat in like 3 rounds. And then he like swings crazy. His fights, he got rocked by that last kid, right? So I think Canelo would have folded him to the body and to the head like in like 6-7 rounds, honestly, after he's done chasing him around the ring for a while, honestly. I just don't get why he did it. When's the last time Gary Russell Jr. fought, by the way? I don't even remember. Oh, was that when he lost against Magsayo? Right? That was it, right? Leo's rich. I feel like Leo is rich and he's just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck about anything. Like, I'm rich now. And I think also it's his dad, right? Like, his dad's health has been declining, and he has cancer and he's had all these issues. So I think that's what it is in a way also, right? Like, I think he just wants to enjoy being with his dad. Because has he fought after Tank? He has, right? He fought like one fight after Tank, I think. But then not again? Or did he not fight after Tank? I don't even fucking remember, to be honest. I don't know. I think I'm going to give Tank the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to say that until he proves me right. He just fought, so I'm not going to get on Tank and be like, well, when's the next fight? That's what I don't like about post-fight conference either, where like the other media is like, so what's next? Like, motherfucker, let them go home and shower, wipe the fucking blood off their face. Let them go home and get a good night's rest. Let them not be sore anymore from the fucking body shots. Let them not piss blood anymore. And then ask them what's next. I feel like if I were a fighter and I just beat someone, especially if I just beat someone, someone's already asking me who's next, I'd be like, damn, bitch, can I go home and shower first? Like, can I just fucking, like, go eat a cheeseburger? And then we can fucking talk about all this. So I want to I'm going to give Tank a whole month or two. Let him, and then I'll have a negative reaction if for some reason he doesn't, whatever the fuck. But I won't prematurely say that. Who he fight? Oh, he fought in the undercard of Keith and Barrios. You're right. I was there. I was at Keith versus Barrios. And yes, Leo fought. You are right. Jesus Ramos Jr. I think his fight was very, very entertaining. That's the guy who fought Joy Spencer, right? Right? Very entertaining. Very entertaining guy. Hopefully, anyways, I would love for Devin to beat Loma. But I do think that Loma still has that, like, espinita, right? I think that Loma still has that, like, little bit where if he can pull it off, he definitely can. If it's one person who can pull it off, I think it's definitely Lomachenko. At this stage in their career, I mean, in being older, right? I think Loma can do it as long as he doesn't fucking take 6 rounds and does nothing after. But I think Haney just needs to be really fucking smart and calculated, which I think he can be. I would love for Haney to win and to be like, whatever, like I did this, I beat Lomachenko. But I still think Lomachenko has a chance, especially because Lomachenko does seem to have a little bit more pop behind his punches than Haney, right? And he seems to place his punches better to where it's gonna hurt his opponent, as opposed to Haney, who's more of a boxing. He outboxes this guy. He did great against Cambosos, both times. But I just feel like he still has a lot, to work on with experience-wise. I know, obviously, Loma has less fights, but with the whole amateur shit. And I know we usually don't bring amateur into the pros, but with Loma, it's a little different. But yes, I would love for Devin to win. I do remember that he said that. Dude, I love that shit for him because, I get that it was frustrating for me to see Gary Russell fight the fight that he fought, right? Because it's Gary Russell. You don't got to do all that. But that shit was funny. I don't think he lost. I don't think he lost. I don't think anybody's saying that. I don't. What does this have to do with anything? I never said that Ryan was not a huge part. Let me say this again and let me say it one last time because I don't get where this came from. We're not even talking about them anymore. The reason why Ryan and Tank did the numbers that it did is many factors. It's not because of one guy. It's not because of the other guy individually. There's many factors to this. One, Tank has been very well marketed by Showtime, PBC, LRB, Mayweather. So his building him as a knockout artist and having him be promoted in the way that he will fuck you up, and he went to 140 and fought Barrios, and even though it was a competitive fight up until later rounds, he fucked him up, right? He punished Barrios, a guy who's much bigger than him, and go to Los Santa Cruz, the 5 division world champ, who again, in my opinion, that was gonna happen. So it was like whatever. I wasn't really impressed by that. But it was a beautiful knockout, a highlight reel knockout that you're like, God damn. So with Tank, he's been very beautifully marketed to the casual fan, and so has Ryan. Ryan, the way that he went viral through his Cobra Bag videos, and the way that he's handsome and he's an influencer, he's fast. He also has fast knockouts, right? So both of these guys have tremendous knockout reels, highlight reels, right? Both of these guys, one's marketed as like this influencer pretty boy, while the other one's a knockout artist that they built, right? Not just that alone, they're guys who promote them or promoted them at point with Tank. They're old arch enemies, right? With Floyd and Oscar, it's like their new generation of beef. So all of this plays part into that. The fact that it's Oscar versus Floyd all over again, but within the new generation, and there's so many parallels with Tank. Obviously, Floyd was not really like a knockout artist after being at 135. He wasn't really a come forward guy like that. But it's this guy, right, who was scouted and he's being made into the next big thing and trying to be the face of boxing and the new pay-per-view star, with this other guy who's Mexican American, as they call it, right? He and the Mexican fans want to prove that he's Mexican enough, and he's cute, and he has this intersection of boxer and pretty boy, and it's the same storyline all over again. And all of that comes together, right? So no, I don't get this argument. I've seen it on Twitter since like fucking all week since the fucking numbers got revealed. Like, well, Tank didn't do that alone. No one said. No, I've not heard not one fucking person say that Tank did that on his own. Not one fucking person. Not one fucking person that have I ever seen this whole fucking week say, well, Tank did that. They both did that. They both did that because they're both on their own, marketed beautiful by their respective promotions. They were both had their individual branding through their own individual social media and efforts and their own. And then being one with Money Mayweather and the other one with Oscar, who themselves had their rivalry, all of this together made it what it is. Made those numbers fucking crazy. Not one time have I heard, oh, Ryan did it on his own or Tank did it on his own. Because one, Ryan had never been pay-per-view, so there's no fucking telling what he would have done on his own. And with Tank in this era of streaming, 200, 300 pay-per-view buys is fucking a lot, in my opinion. And I think Tank was averaging around 200. So that is a lot. We're no longer in the Mayweather-Pacquiao days. We're no longer in the early Canelo days. We have streaming now. Yes, back then we had black boxes, but it was still a little bit more difficult, right? Now I could fucking pull up 5 fucking for the FBI in my computer. This is a joke. This is a funny haha. I could pull up 10 fucking streams right now for any fight, right? People on TikTok stream this shit. Like, it's not difficult to find a stream. So first of all, I'm not one to ever give a fuck about pay-per-view numbers because people are going to watch regardless. Maybe it's not going to register as an official buy, but people are going to watch. And I promise you that even though it was 1.2 million registered, way more people saw that shit on illegal streams, right? So I don't really give a fuck about all that. And not once again have I heard anybody said one or the other guy was the reason why there was such a success. Both of them did this. Trying to get special treatment and not getting shot. I know that shit's fucking crazy. I don't know what Charlo's going through, but I just need him to come back or vacate. Tank will never fight. Again, I'm not going to say this shit because they also said he was never going to fight Ryan Garcia, and he did. So I don't get why the negative... People always like to do negative attention or negative comments. For what? It's like y'all are rooting for fights not to happen. Like, I'm the contrary. Like, prove me wrong. And why would I say that? I wouldn't say that. I would say, oh, he's ducking. He's ducking. He just fought a guy who a lot of people said that he was going to get his ass beat by. And he fought him and he beat him. So I'm not going to really entertain that right now. Floyd Mayweather wants to make his own belt. I didn't know that. Where did he say that? Arturo, thank you for the super chat, by the way. I've never heard of that in my life. But then again, I'm a casual, so what the fuck do I know? And I saw... Oh my God. Duérmete. You're gonna wake up sleepy. I appreciate you being here, though, so much. Mayweather belt tag on his undercard. Exactly. Exactly. So there you go. Whatever their branding was is what made them successful. So it's not one or the other is my point. So there you go. And you just proved that regardless of whether you think it was tank fighting bums or Ryan being a TikTok star, it sure as fuck worked for them. Sign me the fuck up to be a fucking TikTok star or a fake knockout artist knocking out bums. Sign me the fuck up. I'll take it. Chavez doesn't want to see another Ryan. Dude, I saw that. He was saying that Ryan quit. Chavez, right? He was saying that he quit. It's when it comes to old school Mexican guys, they're going to be that way. They're going to want the type of fights that they fought, and they're going to feel like if they were able to give the fans this type of fight, then so should you. You know what I mean? So I think older generation fighters, especially Mexican fighters who have a reputation for being toe-to-toe, are always going to have that opinion on guys who, quote-unquote, give up or don't get up, right? Hi, Basil Lomachenko. Basil. I love basil on pizza. Who should he train next? I don't know, honestly. I don't think Ryan Goossen was a bad choice. I don't think Eddie Reynoso was a bad choice. I saw improvement with both, honestly. I saw Ryan improve a lot through Eddie Reynoso, and I saw him improve a lot through Goossen. I just think that he wants to be the main character so bad, right? And with Eddie Reynoso, I do generally believe that that's why it didn't work out, because Eddie Reynoso has other fighters that are also main characters in their own respective ways that are going to take the time away from Ryan, right? And with Goossen, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't understand why Ryan chose to part ways. Maybe once he gives some interviews, we'll be able to figure that out, and we'll go back into it. But I don't know, I don't know who would be next. Fuck it, put him with, I don't know, Virgil Hunter, put him with fucking Robert Garcia right in the desert. What? Where did he say this? What? Y'all need to link me, because I told you guys, I was in San Antonio all weekend, got here Sunday night, went the fuck to sleep, woke up today, went to work, and I'm just coming back home. Like, dead ass, I have not watched anything. Like, I was in San Antonio, like, just a fiesta, having fun. And I came back late. Like, dead ass, I got into my house, like, at 11 p.m. I went to bed because I had to work today. And I'm still in my fucking work clothes. Like, I dead ass woke up, took a shower to work, came back, got on live. So, like, I have not gone into all that. Please link me. I would love y'all to link me. Please link me. I don't think so, but we'll see. You want to say hi? Doesn't matter who the trainer. Yes, and that's a great point, right? Because Ryan, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who trains you. And this is what I mean with when he gives me AJ vibes, right? With AJ, how many times has AJ switched trainers, right? And the other day, it's not really a trainer thing. It's more of like what you absorb from each trainer. I don't think it, like I said at the early beginning of the chat, right? It should be normalized to go to other trainers because you want to absorb different things from different trainers, right? And learn as much as you can from different trainers on what they got to offer. So maybe you shouldn't be like fucking trainer hopping, right? But also you should be open to maybe collaborating, right, with other trainers, going in there and paying them to give you some sort of insight that you feel will be beneficial depending on who you're fighting. But at the end of the day, if you're not absorbing what the trainer's telling you, then it's more of a you problem, you know? Ryan said he got, yeah. Which, in my opinion, like, got bored. After you got dropped on the second round, the fight wasn't that exciting, my brother in Christ. Like, what are you talking about? Bored. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the most ecstatic. After he got dropped, he did, like, kind of lay off the fucking paddle for a bit. So I don't understand what he meant by that he got bored. Bored of what? Like, what do you mean? Like, he was still hitting you. So I don't understand that. And I would love for y'all to link me or tell me more tea because, like I told you guys, sometimes You guys know more than I do because I'm at work. Give me a minute. I'm at work and I don't fucking get. I don't. I'm at work. I can't really be on YouTube and shit. But I would love to know all the. You guys give me the tea. I love that shit for me. Ryan's like a commitment has been an issue for a while. I think it's because the mental health issues that he claims he has, right? That, as someone who also suffers from mental health stuff, and that's on my medication that I'm staying right now, it can be debilitating, but also the influencer's perspective of it, I'm a media personality regardless of whether I get in the ring or not type of shit, that maybe do have Ryan thinking like, do I really do all this? And Wolf, oh my God, Joe. And Wolf would fucking shred Ryan like string cheese. And Wolf would hurt Ryan's feelings and physically hurt him. Good night. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Okay, let's see. I'm also going to be leaving soon because it's already been an hour and a half that we've been here, and I got to make my kids some food. Is Canelo still the face of... I think Canelo's still the face of boxing because it's still the beginning of the year, and Tank, okay, he fought Ryan good. But I think if Canelo doesn't fight somebody good after fighting Ryder, and Tank does fight somebody good, let's say he fights like another A-level guy, B-plus level guy, and Canelo fucking loses to Bigot, then I think that Tank can definitely, by the end of the year, be there. Right? But if Canelo gets his shit together, what are you doing? But if Canelo gets his shit together and says, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna fight whoever, I'm gonna fight Benavides, then Canelo can keep his face of boxing card, right? And I don't think it should just be one face of boxing. I would like for boxing to thrive enough for us to have multiple faces of boxing, to have boxing widely recognized. As someone who loves boxing and has loved boxing since I was a child, there was nothing more beautiful to me about Ryan versus Tank Fight Week than being in Vegas, and everywhere I went, that was the conversation. Because like I mentioned in last week's live, yeah, of course, Fight Week in Vegas is always lit, and you go to bars and you see people with their merch and you bond over it, right? But it's almost exclusively at the MGM, New York, and surrounding areas, right? I was staying at the motherfucking Sahara all the fucking way over there by Resort World, and that was the topic of conversation at the bar. I was walking around all of Vegas, and the conversation was Tank versus Ryan. I went to like an upscale bar at the Sahara, and I swear I heard this fucking older white guy say, oh yeah, it's a big hype because there's a Mexican fighting a black god tomorrow. And I'm just like, okay, that's a bit problematic the way you said it, but he's still talking about it. So it means something, right? Like, it was very beautiful to see. I would like that for every fight. I'm always rooting for boxing. I'm not a negative Nancy bitch that's like, oh, this guy's dunking this. Oh, we're never going to get this fight. Oh, man, boxing's dead. No, I'm rooting for boxing. I want the big fights to happen. And when they do, I support them because I want them to keep happening. Canelo, Joshua, and Fury were TV deals or Fury, I don't really give a fuck about it. I don't give a fuck about Fury, honestly. Again, we have not seen Canelo's pay-per-view numbers really with the zone, so there's not really telling how much he's doing. And like I said, in this era of streaming, anywhere 200,000-300,000 for me is good. Like, that's good because most people are streaming it, especially if the undercard's lacking, right? Which with this one, it kind of was. But regardless, it was big enough to get past 1 million. That's wild. And I haven't been to Resort World, but it's right across from the Sahara, which I usually stay at because my job owns it. So they give us those rooms. So I'm going to have to go to Resort World. Oh, Benavides hands fucking down. Bigot for what? He's losing that fight regardless. That face above, they beat the zone. Hey, I try my best, okay? I try my best. I really appreciate all of you guys being here. I will be here next Monday as well. This time for sure with my DSLR HD setup and my great microphone. I will have a better setup. And fuck it. Let's go live for Canelo versus Ryder. We can have a little fight viewing party with live little impressions and stuff, live little commentary. If y'all are down, I'm down. We could be here drinking together, watching Canelo Ryder. If you guys are down, I would definitely like to do that. Anna, what are you doing, brother in Christ? My son does karate, by the way. Both of them do karate. And yeah, let's see what we can do with Canelo and Ryder. I'm gonna try to stream it on TikTok, but I know that TikTok one time already took my live down, so but I'm gonna try it. And if not, we'll just be here.
Oh crap, sorry, I tripped. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
We'll just be here shooting shit and all of that. Y'all gonna have to I mean, I was there, I believe you. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for being here again. I will see you guys. Follow me on social media. All my social medias are up there. I'll try to stream it on TikTok, see if I get banned or some shit. But also we could just do live commentary here, all of us together. And fuck it. Through this platform, I can share links so other people can come in and also talk. So we'll make it a whole little chat with all of us talking if y'all want to. I wouldn't mind that at all. And I think I would have, I don't know. That's actually 50-50 in my opinion. But y'all have a good night. Thank you. Tell your friends about it. And y'all have a good night. You want to say good night, Eden?
Yeah.
Good night. All right. Good night,
everybody.
Have a good night. I'll see y'all next Monday. Well, I'll see you guys on Saturday for the fight. But I'll see you next Monday as well. Bye.